And because it's going to be harder for people to go around, because the big dinosaur businesses are collapsing, including supermarkets, as it's completely ridiculous to bring apples, for example, from one end of the world to another, and to fly food everywhere. When this becomes too expensive, no longer viable, everybody will be growing their own food. People are going to start gathering into communities, much smaller communities. And fifth dimensional communities will operate in a very different way from now. People will work for the highest good of everybody within the community and beyond it. So they will be growing their own food and growing it in an organic way, using natural means. People will be much healthier. They will start to take their power into their own hands, and they will say no to GM products. No to many of the things that are starting to come forward in our Big Brother environment. All of that will start to dissolve and end as people claim their individual power. Of course, it's time for people to start doing that now. But as the structures dissolve, this will happen automatically. And the fifth dimensional communities, because people are doing what they want to do, will be much happier places. For example, children will be in schools designed for the highest good of children. Not as they currently are, which is very often for the highest good of adults. And so children will start to grow up being more confident in themselves, having more self-worth and self-esteem, learning to do what gives them soul satisfaction, so they're not influenced by society. They'll make choices for the right reasons. And many, many more star children will come in. On the current forecast, by 2032, 17% of babies will be born with their 12 strands of DNA in place. Now, this could be more if there were enough high-frequency adults to birth them and look after them. And this is possible as more and more people are bringing in their 12 chakras and bringing fifth dimensional energy through them. After 2032, things will move again. Some of the fifth dimensional communities I've been talking about will start to become new golden cities. They will arise like phoenix from the ashes. They're called golden cities because they have a golden energy. And they're not going to be as we imagine now. By then, we will have spiritual technology which is beyond our current comprehension, just as they did in Golden Atlantis, but at another level higher. The 1111, if you remember. And these cities will be built from materials that are totally ecological, that we, again, can't currently understand. They will be built for colour and light, and on divine feminine principles. So there will be none of this curved, square, masculine building. Everything will be curved and rounded, because they will easily be able to build in those ways with the extruded plant materials that they will then be able to create, manifest, and prepare. And of course, in these cities, everybody will work for the highest good. And everybody will share for the highest good. So that if, and people will gather together in groups of like-minded people. So for example, if you're a musician, then there will be a hall, and probably several of them, where musical instruments are left that anybody can use. And people will gather there regularly to make harmonious music together. And there will be transports. I hardly like to call them vehicles, that will be available for everybody. Now, one thing I particularly like is the fact that people will have little mini helicopters. Something you strap onto your back that you can use for travel. And of course, there will be huge transports by 2050 that travel at inconceivable speeds and open the world up again. And of course, we will once more go into space exploration. But this time it will be different, because we'll be going from the right attitude. Space exploration has been stopped because of the attitude of people on Earth doing it. The competition, the desire to conquer space. When we come from a trying to discover more about God's wonderful universe, then we can succeed.